Good evening, Drew and Nikki. It's Monday, the 17th of September, and I just finished watching Crew's videos, and I gotta tell you that I actually, earlier this afternoon, I looked up the chords for the song You Don't Send Me Flowers Anymore, and I was gonna write a variation on that called You Don't Make Me Videos Anymore and sing it, but when I started actually playing the song, I realized it was so bad that I couldn't possibly do that. And as it turned out, it would have been a waste of time because, look at this, you made 3 videos. So I appreciate your making videos. I'm going to go through. I was up late last night because I wrote a song last night that I'm going to tell you about sometime. Maybe I'll play it, but it takes a lot of explaining and it's kind of ridiculous. But let that be foreshadowing. Another video sometime. But yeah, so I was up late last night doing that, so I'm kind of tired. But I want to tell you about what's going on with the kids. So it was great to hear about what your kids are up to. It was great seeing Duncan. I know I already said this in the previous video, but it's really fun to see him. I'm glad that he claims to have had a decent time or was bored. I'm not sure which, but I assume you talked to him. And your report that he had a decent time was from that. It was also great to see Nikki. And Nikki, I hope you had a good weekend with your guests. But so our kids, interesting. So I guess I did put up the video from last Thursday with Taryn, and you got to see Taryn and me mocking poor Taryn. But I just thought it was priceless when he spit his milk everywhere. So Taryn's doing good. He's in karate. And he's just going along and having a good time. Gareth is playing soccer. He's full into it now. And it's actually going really well for him. It's actually probably, I would say he's at a really good place right now with it. He's having a really good time on JV. He's playing a lot. He's one of the best players on JV, so he feels it's good for his ego, and he's enjoying it. And he was really bummed about not being on varsity, and he got over that, which is good. It's a great lesson to learn that sometimes what you think you want for the prestige and everything isn't really the best thing. He's been practicing and working hard, and actually the last 2 practices, the varsity coach has brought him over to work on particular things with the varsity. He hasn't done a full practice with them, but a couple practices ago, the varsity coach asked him to come take shots on the goalkeepers while he was doing a goalkeeper drill. And then he actually asked Gareth to practice. He spent half of his last practice practicing with the varsity. And actually, I really hope he doesn't get called up to varsity because it would mean he'd just be sitting on the bench. Realistically, his friends are only getting a few minutes playing time every game, and I think what he really needs to learn is that sort of intensity and engagement in the game, and maintaining that. And I don't think he's going to get that with just a few minutes here and there where he's really intimidated. So I hope he continues to play in JV. Tomorrow morning they are leaving at 9 o'clock to go to Portland for a game. So they drive to Portland, then they play 2 games on turf consecutively. They play JV and then varsity. So they'll be done, I think, relatively late. And they're not expecting to be home till after midnight, which is insane. And then they have another similar thing next Tuesday, a week from now. So, that's what he's up to. That Grayson is going to come down and live with us. I think I talked about that, and Gray was down last Thursday, and we had a nice talk with him about, just trying to open lines of communication before he gets here, so that if he feels like he needs to talk about anything, he can talk. So that was good, and we're excited. So Gareth starts classes at the community college next Monday. And I pick up Gray in the Tri-Cities on Sunday because he's going to a Boy Scout thing with Brad in Yakima, so that'll be good. Carew is taking pre-med classes and apparently really enjoying them. Seems to be having a good time. We don't hear a lot from him when he's at school. Sarah said she called him today and had a brief talk with him. He seems to be doing well. Bryn and Eleanor came down, I don't know, a week ago Friday, so a little over a week ago, and they it was fun to see them. They're doing well, I think. It's hard to tell. So that's what's up with my kids. I do want to hear about what's up with Nikki's kids, though. So you talked about the open house you went to for the other folks in town whose son killed himself last week, and I don't know. It's hard to. I mean, I don't know if a response is necessary, but I understand and empathize with everything you said in that video. How lame is that? But that's where I am. So I'm glad, and I think you're right that probably having a one-on-one time with him, if he's interested in that, makes sense. What you asked us what you and Beth looked like, and I think your description was pretty apt. I mean, it was pretty brutal. And one of the crazy things I always think about that in a situation like this is that I can't feel the emotions and the pain that you're feeling, and I can't really understand that. And in some ways it's very selfish because it hurts me to see you hurting so bad, and it's like that the transference of that pain that you're going through is not to get all philosophical, but I'm feeling my own pain. I feel pain for the loss of Galen, but I feel more pain for your loss. And so it's hard for me to, I mean, I wouldn't want you to go back to that place either. I don't think it's necessary or healthy to try to dwell in that place. So yeah. So I'm going to move on to something a little lighter. I actually found it, this whole Go USA sign-off thing, it's jarring to me. It's like this, I don't know, it's like, I don't know if you're becoming a hipster, and it's the ironic use of Go USA, but yet, you feel, after watching the Olympics, you feel this affinity for the phrase Go USA, but you realize that it's fraught with empirical, or not empirical, oppressive overtones. But it's funny because it like jars me at the end of every video when you say that, which maybe is a good thing. I don't know, but I'm not sure I can get into the Go USA thing. Nikki, you Go USA. Karu, you Go USA. I'll flounder around and find something else. Yeah. The other thing about that, when you talked about how you were at this open house and you have a friend Bob who you were talking to, and you kind of put the shutters down and focused on Bob just so you didn't have to deal with other people. And I've done that before, and often when I'm doing in a open space when I don't want to deal with other people, and I find myself doing that, I always feel guilty for monopolizing this other person's time. Actually, who was it? Kathy, your neighbor, who swims with you, who I was talking to a couple times, and initially, like the first time I had a chance to talk to her when I was there, I can't remember which time it was, but there was a function and I was standing there talking to her. I ended up talking to her for a long time, and I was worried that I was, she was trying to take, help me along because I was the outsider there. But it turned out she just likes to talk, so that was good. So, yeah. So I'm sorry for Bob that he had to deal with you. The other thing that you you said something about talking to um, John about the things that really helped you with this dealing with Galen's death, and I don't know if you feel comfortable talking about this, but I'd be curious to know what you think those things were, what things really helped you. Um, uh, and maybe, you know, that's not, like I said, if it's, you don't want to talk about that, that's cool. But I'm curious, you know, since you brought it up. So your last video, I gotta tell you, not, you know, most people wouldn't think that I'm a sadist, but, you know, some of the times when I have laughed the hardest are at your misfortunes, crew, and it makes me wonder about my mental health and stability. But there were several points in that video when I was laughing really hard, and mostly at the end when you were talking about, you know, after you were out of the water and everything, and I was worried that you were gonna say something about possibly drowning or having trouble floating, but clearly it's not a problem, I guess, with a wetsuit on. But the one thing is, all you're describing all this water skiing. It's like, it really makes me want to go water skiing. It's like, it's crazy. It's like, I really want to go water skiing now, hearing you talk about it. I'm getting all antsy and stuff, but yeah, that's all right. So yeah, I'm glad you're okay, and at the very least you can now say costochondral separation, which, you know, being able to say costochondral separation is probably worth the pain and the injury. And I gotta say, the biggest laugh I had was when you were talking about the woman coming up and hugging you, because, you know, it's just, that's just awesome. It's awesome, you know. And maybe I should learn to play Love Hurts. Anyway, I've been doing a lot of music recently. I've decided I'm gonna try to write a song every week, and so I mentioned that I wrote a song, and I just kind of recorded it, and I'm not sure how it came out again, like I said, but I'll put it up shortly. Actually, now that I've told you I'm gonna write a song every week, and if I don't do that, I'm gonna feel guilty. But maybe every 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll see how much time. But this next Saturday, the 22nd, I'm actually playing a paid gig at a restaurant in Milton Freewater. So I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun. But I will talk to both you and Nikki again soon. And Nikki, if you get a chance, I know you have a very busy, full life. Please make a video. It was great seeing you. And be well. I can say be well. I like be well. Take care.